Scott, Multiversus is coming back, and we have an actual release date of May 28th. That's right, Anthony Fortino over at Insider Gaming once again today. Whew, on fire. In a new Twitter post, the official Multiversus account finally announced his big return with the release date set for May 28th. Fans of the fighting platform have waited for a new release date since the game shut down last year. The open beta closed in June 25th. Funny how many games now go from open beta just in a game, right? They don't close. Where Multiversus just shut right down. I was like, that's not a good sign.
Yeah,
but it sounds
a
like
bit
a whole
troubling
rework.
of a sign.
Right? Absolutely. Both pausing updates and even taking the game offline to do things the right way, in brackets and quotes. The new release date announced addresses many of the features that the devs mentioned before, including an update netcode. The developers say that they rebuilt the game from the ground up to achieve this improvement. That's why it's offline. That's why they took it down. Dude, they had to rebuild this game. Multiversus will continue to be free to play. The devs will also expand the roster, the selection of stages, and even more the game to oh, really? They're even going to move the game to Unreal Engine 5. Scott, it's only the logical sense, right? It only makes sense to bring everything over to the updated engine, so that way you can sustain the longevity of building this game out. We're seeing it now, even just before our previous article, where we talked about PUBG doing the same thing, right? Bringing it over to Unreal Engine 5. Good friend of the show, Robbie, CEO of Omega Studios, works on Predecessor. The game was in Unreal Engine 4. Boom, they stopped it, put it over to Unreal Engine 5. Everybody wants to transition over because they want to future-proof what they've got coming, right? What they're working on. They don't want to get caught behind, kind of where PUBG is in a sense, if that makes sense.
Well, it does make a lot of sense to roll it into the next Unreal, especially if you're already deciding on reworking most of the game, changing the netcode and some of the fundamental changes. You may as well just move over to Unreal 5.
Absolutely. Multiverse has got a fairly strong reception from critics and players alike, carving out its own personality in the genre. The characters often feel like a natural adaptation, and the pace in the combat is different from its peers. The devs also promised, quote, new attacks and combat mechanics for each character, end quote. This means that if players got attached to certain fighters, they might brace for some major reworks. Ideally, the new combat will improve the fighters. Unfortunately, Player First Games did not confirm exactly which characters will be added. Last January, some McDonald's Multiversus promotions did surface online. This hinted at some of the new and returning character fans might expect. Now that Multiversus finally has a new release date, hopefully Player First Games will release some character trailers soon. Scott, any hopes for this? You can check it out.
I'm certainly going to check it out once more. Because I'm so curious based on that beta, and I did have a lot of fun during it, but it kind of did wear on me being a fighting game, being a Smash Bros. Brawler kind of thing, where I just I got a little tired of it. I liked LeBron, so I'm a little worried they're going to change LeBron on me now. But if I have the Hamburglar to fall back on, I'm okay with that. It's an interesting trade. It's really bizarre. It feels like a kid just mashing the toys together.
Yeah. No, it certainly does. I played as Zara. Dude, I had a ton of fun. And Batman. Oh, I'm Batman. That's like, that was my go-to, right? Like each time, every time. It was a ton of fun. My boys were in there too, so we were all hanging out. We were all playing, and they loved it. And they're like, Dad, they shut it down. I was like, yeah, all right. We'll see what happens. And I honestly didn't know if it was going to make a comeback. We'll see how well it takes off on May 28th, but I don't know, man. Does it have the longevity? Does that rework enough to pull everybody back in? That's the question.
Yeah, I think it will rest entirely on the netcode.
Yeah, fair enough, right? Will players come back and light it up again? Because, dude, when it launched, it was hard. Like, people were, yo, you played this game? You played this game? But still, when you talk about Smash Brothers, dude, it's still king.
Oh, it was open free beta before, too. How much is this going to cost? And is that going to put people the other way?
It's free to play, right? It's going to be free to play, but it's going to have monetization options somehow. Got to keep the studio needs to keep the lights on, and I absolutely understand that. Just be careful, right? We've seen how people like to gouge us out before, and it doesn't go well usually for the developers.
What we have in store for Multiversus. We'll be sharing a lot more details in the coming weeks. From all of us at Player First Games and Warner Brothers Games, we cannot wait to play Multiversus with you on May 28th. Until then,
the end.
Guys, I wasn't done.